When someone gets pulled over for a DUI, they oftentimes want to know, what do I do? The fact of the matter is, there's no secret. There is no one answer that fits every situation. One thing is for sure, if you get pulled over for a suspected DUI, like any other traffic stop, you have to be calm, you have to cooperate with the officer, and make sure that whatever follows doesn't jeopardize you or the safety of anyone else. But generally speaking, the best course is to invoke your right to remain silent and not provide an officer who's investigating a DUI any admissions on your part as to behavior or conduct or alcohol consumption that could lead to your conviction. Typically speaking, when someone is stopped by a law enforcement officer, especially at night, the officer will quickly ask them, have you had anything to drink tonight? Far too often, the cliche response is, yes, officer, I just had 2 beers. That response the officers hear in every DUI case. Even when the truth might be 4, 5, 6 times that, they hear it anyway. Everybody thinks that by saying that, the officer will think they're telling the truth and leave them alone. But the opposite is true. As soon as you admit to an officer you've had something to drink, you're pretty much guaranteed that he's going to remove you from the car and follow up with continuing DUI investigation. So the first thing and the most important advice I can give to anyone who's stopped for a DUI or a suspected DUI is to invoke your right to remain silent. You're not obligated to admit to an officer anything. Quite the opposite. You have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You should protect that right. It's there to protect you. So don't answer questions you don't have to. And certainly a question like, have you been drinking? You don't have to answer. Now, subsequently, you're going to be asked to provide either a blood or breath sample. Your driving privilege, when you got your license, you agreed to that. And if you fail to provide such a sample, you could lose your license for up to a year. So when it comes time for them to request a sample, you're obligated under the law to provide either a blood test or a breath test. As I said, failure to do so results in the Department of Motor Vehicles taking your license for up to a year. However, if when you're pulled over, you don't provide any incriminating evidence, you don't take any field sobriety tests, and you refuse a chemical test, think about all those areas where evidence is normally collected against you. That evidence is no longer there. So when someone is stopped for a DUI, the first thing you have to do is cooperate. But that doesn't mean prove the case against yourself. It just means that you do what the officer asks you to do. But certainly protect your right to remain silent. Don't answer their questions. And if you don't want to lose your license for a year, then you need to provide either a blood or breath test.